If you want to get good at League of Legends, you have to feed. Feed in your games. Feed them. I bet you've never heard that from a guide before. But before I start talking about that, let me explain where my head is at right now. There are a ton of tutorials out there, and a majority of them are just straight up telling you how you should play the game. And I think that's wrong. League is a massive game with so much variety. There's 170 champions and 9 different apes to play those champions. Every game. There's no way any of these guides are enough to help you get good. Think of it this way. If guides actually made people play that much better, why would they need to advertise coaching? Now, don't get me wrong. It's not that I think guides are useless, but I think they are misused. And I'll talk a bit more about that later. There's an important thing that a lot of guides miss that would drastically help you improve as a player. And the secret to getting good at any game is to simply play the game. You're probably thinking, yeah, no shit. But hear me out. There's a difference between playing the game and playing the game with intention. The way you play the game can drastically change how much you can improve. So in this video, I will give you 3 tips on how to become a professional popper offer in League of Legends. At the beginning of the video, I said, to get good, you must feed. And I meant it. This is because one of the most important things you have to do for improvement is to take risks. So that's tip number 1, take risks. Nobody starts the game off knowing the limits of the characters. You have to experiment with them. You'd never know when an enemy is making a mistake or how you can effectively punish them. What I'm trying to say is, you can't learn if you don't try. How do you think Soraka top became a thing? It's because some crackhead decided to lock out in, and it worked out. So I encourage you to play that Xin Zhao support, to take that 1v3, to dive that full HP Wukong while you're half health. Does he have R? Well, I want to do it.
I think he does, bro. Be careful.
Alright, I'm doing it.
Ah! He doesn't have R.
God damn it. Because even if you lose, at the end of the day, you learn something. Like how I learned that Vinny's a fucking liar and that Wukong didn't have R. Anyways, this does come with some caveats. Even with your good intentions, you're still going to be flamed by your teammates for trolling. But let me show you the simple trick to calmly let them know you're trying your best. Actually, I can't dodge that. Oh! Ah, I'm going in, I have to! I'm lagging. And that's it. With this simple trick, you could get out of any situation.
No, you're not.
Problems are solved. It's just that simple. Tip number 2, be aware. Awareness is extremely important in League. Knowing what an enemy has, where they are, and where they will be is key to help you figure out what you need to do. The way you practice awareness is by building a habit to constantly look at your map and hitting tab, even if you don't actually use it. This does a couple of things. It makes gathering information take much less effort because you'll have the information constantly in your vision. This means you'll have more time to think about other important stuff. It also keeps your APM high and your mind sharp. This sort of activity is done consistently in high elo, and it comes through in many forms. Here's a clip of Faker spamming tab and the function keys while on the death screen. He's doing that to both keep himself informed and his mind sharp. He's also probably just bored in gray screen, which, yeah, relatable. Developing a habit is powerful. Faker spams function keys. Almost everyone spam clicks back and forth. I personally have a habit to spam emotes and laugh. It's by accident, but it's funny and it makes your opponent's mental boom. I personally don't recommend this unless if you want to be toxic and tilt the enemy. Building a habit to spam tab and looking at your map instead is probably more useful. Tip number 3, think. You have to think. Thinking is OP. Albert Einstein, 2025. This is what ties everything together. Constantly questioning everything will help you take better risks, and that gives insights on stuff that you might have missed. It's how you improve. The absolute best way to practice this is to rewatch your games. The only downside to this is that you would have to rewatch your games. I personally would rather just play the game, but if you don't mind it, it's perfect because you can take as much time as you need. However, if you're like me and you don't want to do that, then the next best thing is you can try to remember as much as you can before and during whatever is going on. The next time something happens, whether it's good or bad, you can use what you remembered and ask yourself, what happened? And more importantly, what could I do better? Now, some people might say, Hiram, I watched your replay and I don't think I did anything wrong. I'm perfect. Fuck you. And to that, I say, damn bro, relax. And then link them a guide because some guides are useful. Tip 3.5. I fucking hate guides. But I think a lot of guides out there either miss the point or are just plain bad. The point of a guide is to guide you in the right direction by giving you insight on something you might have missed while playing. It's literally in the name guide. Nowadays, guides are filled with either a bunch of extraneous information, overly specific information, or just straight up incorrect information. As an example, one of my friends, Kenneth, told me that there's a guide telling people that they should never be idle in lane, so they should always at least hit the waves.
Huh?
Not only does this miss the point, but it's also just not right. I have another friend, Kevin, who inspired me to make this video, by the way, link me a 22-page Google Doc on how to push or freeze a wave. That is an absurd amount of information that nobody will conceivably be able to use. You can probably summarize the whole Google Doc with drag minion around. Remember, there's a difference between being smart and being knowledgeable. There's no reason to fill your head with stuff you're never going to use. John F. Kennedy, 2077. I understand that these guides probably have really good intentions, but unfortunately for us, we have to dig around to find the gold. Now comes my next point. When you're watching a guide, you should be overly critical of them. Imagine if the guide was written by a child who just started playing League. You should be constantly asking yourself, would I want to do that? Or would I be able to think like that? Remember, the goal is to find a new perspective. With these tactics, you can sort through 90% of the trash, either by helping you identify false or overloaded information. Alright, I actually have one more tip for you guys. This one's my personal favorite and arguably the most important out of all of them. My special tip is to have fun. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's honestly crucial in your improvement for any game. Like I said in the beginning, the best way to learn is to play the game. If you're having fun, you'll tend to play the game more. You'll learn better, you'll remember stuff better, and most importantly, you'll enjoy the journey while doing it. And at the end of the day, that's just what games are all about. As a side note, I want to make it perfectly clear that I have nothing against watching guides. I just feel like the for fun guide subgenre is pretty saturated, making it hard to find useful guides. For good quality content, I highly recommend looking into interviews or documentaries of high elo one-tricks because those guys think a lot differently and they provide a lot of insight. If there's something that I said that you disagree with, please let me know in the comments. I personally love seeing the different perspectives that people have. If you enjoyed this video, let me know by dropping a like, comment, and maybe consider subscribing. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, keep popping off. Peace. Oh my god. What the fuck is he aiming at? Is this Lisa?
Wait, I think they're missing somebody. I think they're gonna reset.
I mean, wouldn't they already have?
Everyone's here.
No, Lisa.
He was just
Listen, just ganked. Yo, where's your map awareness?
Damn, that's crazy.